Hello, everyone. I'm Chik, and I run the identity division at Microsoft. My team builds services to secure access to everything for everyone. And this includes Microsoft services, popular SaaS apps, and custom-built apps that are in the cloud or on premises. Although we are unable to meet in Seattle as originally planned, I'm very excited that we have this opportunity to connect. Today, I will share Microsoft's vision for passwordless authentication and the critical role that the FIDO Alliance is playing to help making computing safer for everyone. At Microsoft, we like to say that nobody likes passwords except for the hackers. And let me share a story that I heard recently. A Microsoft solution partner noticed that one of their small business customers had added 100 new user accounts to their tenant. So they called to check in. Congratulations, you have so many new employees. Well, in reality, this customer had been a one-person operation for many years. And they were actually shocked to learn about all of these new accounts. And it turned out that somebody had used this customer's tenant to create a fake escrow company. These bad actors used the new fake accounts to contact hundreds of people who were about to transfer funds and said, "Sorry for the trouble, but we had a breach. You need to send your funds over here instead." Of course, we worked with the solution partner to shut this down and enable multi-factor authentication for this customer. These criminals breached one account for one small business with only one employee. The fake escrow company probably fished our customer to steal their password and get into their tenant with admin privileges. Unfortunately, the attack was discovered in time. But many innocent people could have lost millions of dollars from just one stolen password. We know that password-only signings represent more than 99.9% of the compromises we detect. Whether those attacks use phishing, password spray, or credential stuffing. We know this because we operate at cloud scale. We handle over 30 billion authentication requests every single day so that we can detect attacks that nobody else can see. And on a daily basis, we stop tens of millions of attacks. And what virtually every successful attack that has in common is a weak or stolen password. Passwords are not only insecure, but they are a pain. Every month, we process millions of password reset requests in our consumer systems alone. Password resets represent one of the top help desk cost drivers. And we know that over half of the users forget their passwords every year, and most of them forget more than once. It is no wonder users keep choosing guessable passwords and keep reusing them between systems. People need more secure and more convenient alternatives. So it's time to say goodbye to passwords. And if you want to replace passwords, the industry must work together to create alternatives that are easy to adapt. And this is our shared responsibility. Now, if passwords are so insecure, why have we used them at all? The reasons are historical. Once upon a time, you had to know the secret word to get into the fortress. And fast forward several thousand years, and a secret word paired with your username seems like a natural choice to secure your inbox. The problem is that usernames are often email addresses, which can be public information. And the passwords are either too easy to steal or too hard to remember. This is a bad combination. So we need a better mechanism than a password. And this mechanism has to be easy to use and difficult to attack. And most importantly, it must give users a consistent experience across every modern fortress they gain access to, their corporate environment, their devices, and the apps and the services that they use. This is why identity standards and FIDO are so crucial. FIDO clearly describes a consistent way to create and confirm credentials. It describes how to achieve secure interactions through cryptographic trust. It also describes how to bind those interactions to user gestures, which makes it much harder for hackers to impersonate people. And FIDO is a critical component of our passwordless strategy. But what do we actually mean when we say passwordless? At Microsoft, we define passwordless authentication as a credentials bound to a device and protected by a PIN or biometric. In other words, instead of a password, we use a combination of factors. First is something you have with you, like a device. Next is something only you know, a PIN number, or something you are that is completely unique, like your fingerprint, your face, or your iris. And to ensure your privacy is protected, all biometric information stays on your device. It should never be sent anywhere. And this is why our implementation of passwordless authentication allows people to use devices they already have, like their phones, and why it relies on other factors like biometrics or a local PIN that only unlocks that device. 150 million of our customers have already gone passwordless for a more secure and a more convenient signing experience. And we at Microsoft are committed to going passwordless. Today, 90% of our employees sign in without a password. We sign in using Windows Hello, the Microsoft Authenticator app, and the FIDO2 security key. Microsoft has been part of the FIDO Alliance since the beginning. We have been ongoing contributors to FIDO standards, from chairing working groups to editing specs. And across Microsoft, entire teams are dedicated to bringing FIDO-enabled authentication to our customers and, in fact, to the whole industry. We do this because FIDO-enabled interactions make our products better. They make our products more secure, easier to use, and compatible across the different devices that our customers love. And this is why we are working to build WebAuthn and CTAP, the specifications behind FIDO2, into all of Microsoft digital experiences. For example, we built FIDO support into Windows 10 so that you can use Windows Hello authentication with any relying party. And we have enabled WebAuthn in the Microsoft Edge browser so that you can sign into your favorite web apps and services using FIDO-based credentials, even on a Mac. And we added FIDO support to Azure AD so that you can use FIDO credentials to access applications connected to Azure AD. And this includes not only Office 365, but also other applications that administrators can integrate through our identity stack, like Adobe, ServiceNow, or Zscaler. And finally, we released APIs to make it easy for our ecosystem of partners to turn on passwordless and manage it at scale. Microsoft has enabled FIDO-based authentication experiences that anyone can use. And we can do a lot more. We love that FIDO will help us go beyond the traditional use case of signing while sitting at your desk. Our customers are very excited about the possibilities of passwordless scenarios, where traditional authentication factors are inconvenient or unavailable. A good example is when you are on a factory floor, at a fast food counter, in a retail setting, or in a clinical setting. Using a password may not make sense if you have to sign in very quickly to serve a customer, or if personal protective equipment makes it impossible to type or challenging to use biometrics. And in other cases, using a phone as another factor may not be safe, practical, or allowed. Our ultimate goal is to eliminate passwords altogether. This means taking a hard look at applications and scripts that still expect passwords and cannot operate without them. Over the past 2 years, we have done the work to remove these dependencies from our consumer services. And by early next year, users of Xbox Live, Outlook, Office 365, or other Microsoft consumer services will no longer need a password. We will now ask users to create password for a new account, and we will now ask them to use a password when signing in. And we will do this for Azure AD next. The industry will only achieve our objective of strong, seamless, and simple user authentication when everyone online can use FIDO everywhere. And to get there, we need to focus on 3 areas. 1. User experience. Signing using phishing-resistant credentials, such as FIDO2, should be a comfortable and a familiar experience. And in fact, it should be the experience people prefer. 2. Interoperability. People should be able to use their credentials across all of their devices, from their laptops to their mobile phones to IoT devices and wearables. And 3. Applications. FIDO authentication must be available in the apps that people want to use. So we need to make it easy for developers to integrate FIDO support. No single company can do this alone, and it will take an entire industry commitment to foster this ecosystem. Microsoft is proud to work alongside other industry players who make browsers, operating systems, authenticators, and applications to promote the use of FIDO. Whether your users are employees, partners, or customers, we want to enable secure and convenient authentication experiences for everyone. So let's work together to make this happen. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the conference.